So we want to welcome you to our Two Posh podcast. And I'm here with my daughter, Marcella.
Hello.
And our amazing technician, Spider.
Hello.
Who does everything for us. We're so grateful for him. And David, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. And I feel so honored that you're here. We are so honored to know you and call you our friend. And I just wanted to dive into the very beginning of your life story. Like, where were you born? Tell us
my
a little.
goodness gracious. We're going back a lot of years.
Because
how did you get to where you
are?
With a lot of...
We're going to do two parts of this show with David because he has such a big story. It deserves two parts. So he has a big first story. And then now he is doing something amazing. So
here we go from the very beginning.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I was born in Waco, Texas. Everybody needs to be born in Waco. So you can get out.
So you can get out. You'll leave.
Yeah, you'll leave. I graduated from high school there and went to community college there. And you don't grow up in Waco without not being a Baylor Bear fan. So that's where I went.
Baylor University.
Baylor University.
Big time.
Yes, they got beat last night. That's horrible.
Oh, no.
But they're coming back. They're coming back. I graduated from there, and then I decided that I needed to venture out and go out and see the world. So I moved to Denver. I had $50 in my pocket. I got maybe...
What made you choose Denver?
I was about to ask that.
Because I had never lived in the mountains. I mean, that was a good reason to go there. You know, everybody needs to do that. So I got a half mile from my house. I had $50 in my pocket, and they were selling dogs on the side of the road, and I decided that I needed a dog.
In Denver?
No.
Oh,
this is when I was leaving Waco.
Oh, when you're on your way.
On my way.
Okay.
Yes. So I spent $50 on a poodle.
$50 on a poodle. That's all you had.
That's all I had. Yes. The rest was an Exxon credit card. So that would get me there.
Okay.
So I got to Denver. I remember putting pots and pans underneath my sink after I moved into this trailer house and decided, I forgot I need to get a job.
That's probably important.
So pots and pans under your sink?
Pots and pans under my sink, yes. So I said I need to get a job.
Right.
So I went to the local mall and applied at a retail store there, and I got an hourly job. And within 3 months, they made me the head of the men's department. And within a few more months, they made me the head of the fashion bar store.
Of course they did. Did you ever model when you were young?
You know what? I was very lucky. When I went to New York, the only photo I had was my Texas driver's license. And I actually moved there and got a job with Miss Universe as their national field director. And
how did you get that?
Well, I had a friend of a friend of a friend. It was one of those things. So I went there, and he said, we have an appointment this afternoon at 5:00. And you need to be at my office with your portfolio. And I said, portfolio? What is that? What is that? So I went to his office. He said, we have a meeting with Jerry Ford at the Ford agency, modeling agency. And of course, I didn't know what that was. And the next day, I mean, literally, the only photo I had was my driver's license. So we got there the next day. I was on a flight to San Juan, Puerto Rico to do a national commercial for Bacardi Rum.
And you'd never modeled before that?
Never.
But have you seen what he looked like?
Well, yes. It's not surprising. I just meant as the experience.
Yeah, well, it was an experience. So anyway, I did that. stayed in New York and you know what the amazing thing is so many people pound the streets of New York with their portfolios and
Yes.
the aspirations of wanting to be a model for
Right.
one of the largest modeling agencies in the world. And to me, it was like, okay, I'm here. We're going to San Juan. We're shooting a national commercial for Bacardi Rum.
Were you excited, or were you just
I didn't
kind of
know.
like?
I was
didn't
so
realize?
naive at the time. I really was. And, I stayed in New York for a while and got an offer to come back to Louisiana, which I went to work for a dear friend of mine, International Productions and Publications, which they ran a pageant organization. Came back to Louisiana, went to work for them, went on tour.
How long did you work for them?
Oh, goodness. 2 or 3 summers.
So how is that like the pageant world? Like, do you go from city to city? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had the experience of working with Miss Universe, which was a great experience. I traveled worldwide, searching out venues for, at the particular time, this is before our former president, Donald Trump, was the president and owner of Miss Universe at the time. We went from city to city. In other words, if Miss Philippines won that particular year, the next year the pageant was in Philippines. If Miss Taiwan won, we went to Taiwan. So I was the one that searched out the venues for them.
That is what a cool job that
Yeah,
is.
you didn't know that about me,
I
right?
did know that you started in pageants, but I didn't know the detail.
Yeah, I
That's
started from the
amazing.
top and went to the bottom. So
That's really
No.
crazy. I mean, that's like I had no idea that that's how it works. So you have
Yeah.
to look at venues and put it all together and all that.
yeah, that was the best part of the job was the travel at that particular time.
Right.
Yeah.
The travel when I started my own became a little different.
I was gonna go there. How? So you worked in pageants. How did you get the idea to start a dance competition?
Oh, I was in Miami, and some friends stopped by. I was doing an audition, and some friends stopped by, and they said, "Oh, well," I said, let's go to dinner tonight. What are we doing? While I'm here, let's take advantage of this. Well, we'd love to do this, but we're at a dance competition. I said, "What?" A dance competition. I didn't know what it was. So I said, "Well, I'll just stop by and I'll pick you up and then we'll go to dinner." So I stopped by. I walked in this venue and there were thousands of people selling novelty items out of cardboard boxes, and I thought, and I'll never forget the MC saying, "Well, I know I told y'all not to bring any food into the venue here, but I haven't eaten in 3 days." I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what is this? So I spent the entire time driving from Miami back to Dallas thinking, I can do better than that.
How can you make this better?
I can do better.
And-
because I had the production experience
Right.
from Miss Universe, and thank goodness for that.
So give me how old are you at this point? Like driving home to
Oh
Waco,
my goodness, I'm
about-
early 20s.
Early 20s.
Early 20s. And
so the entrepreneurial spirit is
oh
there.
yeah, it's kicking in. It's kicking in big time.
Uh-huh.
So I got back to Dallas. I spent the entire drive back from Miami to Dallas thinking about how I could do this. And I thought, what do I know about dance? I don't know
Anything.
my 2 left feet. So I talked to a dance instructor in Richardson, and she said, "I'll help you." And she was kind of my advisor, my whatever. So anyway, I started it, and we would drive, because I didn't have any money. We would drive from like Dallas to Pittsburgh to Baltimore in one weekend, and then Baltimore back to Dallas.
So you know nothing about dance.
Nothing. Oh, I didn't even know what a Marley floor was. I remember this woman in Maryland telling me, you need to get a Marley floor. And I said, what is that?
Wow.
But like, so the entrepreneurial spirit, and you go, I can do this better. Then you go, how did you come up with that name?
Well, I have no idea.
Was that from the beginning?
It was from the beginning, from the very beginning.
So
yes.
You named it, you decided I'm going to do a competition.
Yeah, we're going to name it Showbiz.
Showbiz.
I don't know where that came from, but it
and then
up.
You went and sent stuff to dance studios, or how?
Yeah.
So you did
we had a wall in our offices.
So you made an office.
Yeah.
But you decided this was my business.
This was my business. This is what I was going to. I had nothing to lose at that point. I just thought, okay, let's go do this. I didn't know that driving up the mountains of Colorado were going to be slick. I didn't know that driving all the way to San Diego, California, and having the coffee pot not even brewed before the last act was done. I didn't know. I remember driving to Minnesota one time, and all I had was dried apricots. That's all I had in my car.
So I remember you telling us a story one time where you said you drove a van.
Yes.
With a boombox and a separate speakers. That's how you started, right?
This was after everything was stolen in front of my house. I had at first I graduated. I sold my car to get a van because I thought, we're going to need a van to move all this equipment. So I sold the van. I sold my car. Yeah. And then I got a van. And then when we graduated to a U-Haul trailer, that was like, wow, you're
really
big time stuff now.
Big time.
Yeah.
So, and then the first competition you had, how many people turned up?
I think we had 4 solos.
Oh my God, no way.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, a solo is just a dancer by themselves.
But 2.5 minutes or something.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes.
That was the San Diego trip.
So you have a dance competition, Showbiz Talent Dance.
Yes.
And you have 4 solos.
4 solos. But we went. And the next day we had like 80 when we went to Los Angeles.
You had 80?
It was like.
That's a lot. For the
start. It was a lot, yeah. It was a lot to me then.
That's the beginning. Tell us when it was established, how many was the most numbers you had in one weekend?
Oh my goodness. Well, it grew. Every year it grew. Because our production value was something special.
So from the beginning.
We went from 4 solos to 2,500 acts in a weekend.
Yeah.
Running from Thursday through Sunday night. Sometimes not ending until the parents reminded me that their children need to go to school the next day. So that was kind of an interesting deal.
So, but then several cities at one time too. I mean, that's what you grew into all that.
But it grew. It grew. There were only like 3 major dance competitions in the U.S. at the time.
That unbelievable when you think about that today. 3, which ones were they? Do you remember?
Showstoppers.
Stoppers.
Yes. They were the big boys. And I remember placing an ad. I bought an ad in a dance magazine that was maybe 1/3 of a page, maybe 1/4, maybe 1/8.
Yeah.
And looking at their schedule and thinking, oh my gosh, they're within 2 weeks of when we're going to be there. We're going to get killed. Oh. But they inspired me.
Right. Because you wanted to become
I wanted to be a nationally acclaimed dance competition.
You did it.
Yes, we did it. We did it.
You did it. Oh, I mean, what, 25 years?
25 years.
25 years of traveling the country. Back and forth.
But the amazing thing is that I started a competitive competition to Showbiz. It was all under one roof. So that's where Primetime came in. And you go to Kansas City and you get your client base built up. And I remember getting on the phone and calling the studio directors and saying, all right, so if we brought back another dance competition, would you support us? Oh, anything you do, David, we'll be there. We'll be there. So I thought, okay, I should have started 3 or 4.
Yeah. No kidding.
Oh, but it was a lot of work.
A lot of work.
A lot of travel.
Do you ever get tired of the travel?
Yes. You get tired of getting the what am I trying to say? You get tired of airline agents telling you,
God, yes.
I'm sorry, we're overbooked, or I'm sorry, you can't get first class, or, do you realize I just worked, 65 hours of this past weekend and, I'm tired and I just want to go home.
Right.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't know.
Well, most people don't know what those weekends are like.
No. They have no idea.
Would you guys like to elaborate? Whatever.
There's just nothing. I don't think, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's anything else like a dance competition weekend. I don't think there's anything.
Nah.
In a normal work environment, I mean, I don't know if there's any other business that will run so many hours in such a short time.
I mean, we were lucky to get 3 or 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
At night.
Exactly.
And then you're back up and going again. And it's like, oh my gosh, this
how
is
do you
crazy.
do it? It's crazy. Yeah, like a machine.
Yeah, like a machine. But you get such an energy burst off of that. The people lining up at the door and rushing to get in, and the kids getting ready to go to the dressing rooms, and it was a rush. It was great.
I did not know that you didn't have any dance background.
No.
I think as a young kid, because I competed at Showbiz, so that's how we met David. I was young, but I don't think in my whole life of dancing, I didn't know that you'd never were not a dancer.
But you know what? That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's great.
Because, it's like in my business today. I would rather hire someone who has no experience and bring them into the industry, teaching them the right way versus teaching them, trying to break old habits of the wrong way.
Right.
So, in teaching them my way.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
And now,
but
the end is near.
I find it so cool because I remember so well, like going to competitions with Marcella as a mom. I know nothing about dance myself, and your competition then like separated itself from all the others by doing these amazing nationals where you brought in these photographers and they had like these photo shoots and the black tie event, which was not done before. Like all of a sudden you have
that's where tables. I brought in the Miss Universe concept.
That's how that ties in.
The production quality was different than, a local dance studio owner trying to start a dance competition.
Right.
They were dancers, but they didn't know a whole lot about production. So that's what
set you apart.
Yes.
And that
makes sense.
I just remember that first time when we had the round tables. That's when we were with Shella, and that's how we talked. It was so neat. And then you guys brought in like literally with evening gowns. Like everyone had to be dressed up, and you felt like you had to. You're in a
they didn't have to be dressed up. But they chose to be dressed up.
Because that's the feeling you had. And when you think about it, you're in a convention center. But the feeling you gave was that 5-star black tie special event that you had to dress up for your kids. And then it was just made so big and so special. And they felt special. And then so that turned into next year we're going to come back and do better. And so the competition within the dance studios grew because everything, the expectations became higher and higher and better.
Well, and that's why we attracted the best of the best.
Right.
I mean, the quality of the performers and kids, you're from Europe. So, when you see these kids walk around, I remember Thomas, my dear beloved husband, his mother came to a competition in Chicago one time, and she saw these kids running around in makeup and these frilly little skimpy costumes, and she was like, "Oh my Lord, what is this?"
What is this?
That's why we didn't stretch out and go into the European market, because it was just so different,
Right.
than what we experience here in the U.S. I mean, it was different.
Did you, I'm sure, I know that you made a lot of friends with studio owners across the country, and they become friends because you spent weekends with them.
That's the concept to
Yeah.
any successful business,
Yes.
is you build relationships.
Right.
It's not about, yes, the production value was there and the experience of the kids dancing under the bright lights. They think they're at a Michael Jackson concert
Right.
or something. That was pretty phenomenal for those kids. But again, to be a successful business owner, you've got to build those relationships. And
Yeah.
it's like what I'm doing today.
Right.
We cherish those people who
Right.
support us.
You're right.
And we show them the appreciation. So
Right. And when I think about you, I think about persistent. You're persistent. You're determined. You never quit, no matter what. Your brain it's amazing, and it's very aspiring to watch you do things and come up with ideas and then build them, and what you have to show for is incredible. It's always so unbelievable
the day
to me.
you stop learning is the day you die. So
Yeah, that is true.
It's like you just got to keep going. So whatever it is next, God only knows.
Do you remember how many was the most cities you did in 1 year?
Oh, we did 56. My very first year. 56. That's why we were able to drive from Pittsburgh to Baltimore in one weekend, and then go to the next stop the next weekend, and we'd do Santa Fe and Phoenix. So, we tried to get close proximities. Yeah. I remember we had a big competition in Memphis, and when we drove to Little Rock, and we were still setting up at 1:00 in the morning and had another event to do that's AM that same day. So it was like, that was pretty amazing.
How many employees did you have at the height of your career?
The height of the career, too many. The bigger you get, the more staff it takes, the more chances of mistakes. Sometimes I remember the day that I said to myself, either you've got to stay small or you got to grow big. And growing big was the answer to me at that particular time. But I don't necessarily feel that way today. I would love to know what it's like to be an intimate business with just, unlimited funds and be able to cater to those people. But that doesn't happen in David's brain.
No. Did you ever, so you never did overseas competitions?
No.
Did you ever get stabbed in the back by staff?
That's the biggest problem as a business owner is staff.
Yes.
I had a very loyal and devoted staff. But then there's always those that look at the side that says, oh, I can make the quick bucks. I can do this during college. I can go and I don't know. That's a rough question, Gabby.
It's hard. We opened Prestige Dance because of you, literally. Because one weekend you
I'm so
said,
sorry.
Well, at the time it sounded like a great idea, and you thought so, and so did we. And I feel like we gave it the best shot we had, and we had an amazing run.
Mm-hmm.
And that part of it, though, that rough question, that happened to us over and over. And it was just really, really difficult. And
Well, I kept saying, like, why is it so hard to find, like, good stuff? I'm so confused.
That's the nature of the business.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're
No,
in.
I know.
You're going to have that problem.
Yeah.
You do. The dance is different, though. There's just
Well, there's a lot of egos involved in dance.
Probably that's the problem.
I was the president of the international dance competitions, and we would have a big gala every year, and it was sometimes in Cancun, sometimes it was in New Orleans, it was in Dallas once. I mean, it was pretty amazing to be involved in this. But we tried to get you reach a goal in life where you're thinking, all right, let's build a camaraderie among your fellow competitors. It would be like all the dance teachers in a certain city getting together and saying, all right, let's come together and let's do something in unity. Well, we attempted to do that.
Yeah.
And I will say that I built some very strong relationships.
Right.
But we, for example, we had a pact that nobody would solicit to our mutual clients, because in the dance competition world, you don't just own a studio. You don't have one particular studio in your pocket. You may have a studio who supports you every year, but everybody's out for them.
Of course.
So, that was the agreement. We wouldn't solicit to our fellow patrons, our mutual support clients. And then we get to a certain city, and then they were all of a sudden hosting yacht cruises, and it's like
so crazy.
Oh my gosh.
No one stuck by that agreement.
No.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah.
When did and how did you meet Thomas?
Oh my goodness.
Because you were already, how many years did you do the competitions?
25 years we did the competition.
Right. And
Thomas and I met on a cruise ship, actually. I took my parents on a cruise, and we went through the Panama Canal, and the very first night was the captain's reception, and I broke my camera or whatever. That's when you didn't have a phone that had cameras. I'm not telling my age.
no.
All right. So anyway, the camera, I said, I'm going to take this back to the cabin. And I was going up some stairs, and Thomas was either coming down some stairs or vice versa. I don't even recall. And he was like Joe Black. I mean, it was like, whoa.
The Brad Pitt.
So handsome.
Yeah, so handsome. But, on top of that, he was European, and he couldn't come he didn't have the visa to come to the U.S. And he finally was able to achieve that.
Did he want that? That was his goal at the
has
time?
Always wanted to live in America.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
I didn't know that about your
Yes.
family.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know that that's what he always wanted to do.
Since he was a child. Or so he tells me. So today he lives here. He's
And
an
he's a
American
citizen, yes.
Yes. And
So-
he went through the correct channels to become that.
Well, so for our listeners, Thomas is Tommy, my best friend. He's from Austria, and David introduced us. I will never forget the moment when you did, because it was at a competition, and you go, Gabby, I need to show you Thomas. He's from Austria. And
Show you.
introduce you.
I want you to meet.
I wanted to meet. And he came over, and it was so great. Like, I felt a connection from the first moment. I, at that moment, was going through a crazy time in life. Jolie was tiny. And
in a stroller.
In the stroller. And we didn't have really time to do a lot together. But then as she grew up, then we did. And it's been an amazing friendship. And so do I.
Not because you're Austrian.
No, they're both European.
Yes.
It's so, I can't explain to anyone what it feels like honey on your soul. When you move countries, it's very difficult sometimes because your heritage is there. And even though you love it here, you still always have that connection
Yeah.
to home.
Especially now,
Yes.
because of the travel ban and,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
things like that. It's really, really rough on him because
It's
his
so hard.
mom is a single woman who
Right.
lives in that country, and
Right.
she's not allowed to travel to the U.S., nor is he allowed to travel to Austria, as you well know.
Yeah, I just talked with my mom, who said she's going from one depression in the next because
Yeah.
it's just very, very difficult on them over there, and we can't do anything because if we go home, we have to be quarantined for 14 days,
Right.
and everyone works. You can't just be in a hotel room for 14 days.
No.
It's just
No.
craziness. So,
No, that doesn't work.
but that's why it's just honey on my soul. I know, to have him and be able to speak our language the way we do, and it's just been such a blessing. And I've known you way longer. So it's just such a
So
great
are you telling me I'm
combination
not a
of friendship.
blessing? Or
Are my friendship blessings.
You're just
So-
not from Austria.
No, no.
That's the only thing.
Just Deutsch.
That brings me to my next question.
Oh,
I know
my
you
goodness.
have traveled to Austria with
Oh,
Thomas.
many
and what
times.
do you think about that?
Oh, I love it. That's one of the when they ask you to fill out the questionnaire, on web when you're putting your password in, they give you those few
Yes.
questions. Where's your favorite city to travel, or where's the best vacation you've ever had? And I always put Vienna. I mean, so for all your listeners, that's
Yeah,
my password.
steal your password.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did you propose to Thomas?
Oh my. Well, we've been on a yacht cruise, which was pretty phenomenal. We came back to St. Thomas, and we were in a jewelry store, and I found these rings that I thought, oh my gosh, they're beautiful, So I said, can you come outside with me for just a minute? So we stood outside next to these garbage cans.
I was not expecting you to say that.
No, you thought there was going to be some emotional tied to this. No. But we stood outside next to the trash cans, and, I said, I love you with all my heart. Will you marry me? And yeah, he said yes.
He said-
Thank God.
And your wedding was, I was at the wedding at the house that was
Yes.
beginning, and it was so special and so wonderful. I never forget that day. And then you had this amazing wedding
At sea
at
in
sea
St. Bart's.
at St.
Yes.
Bart's, and you had the Sea Dream yacht you guys went
Yes.
on. So
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah.
An amazing trip.
It. I still can't believe they did that. Kudos to Sea Dream. They're like, I went on a transatlantic crossing prior to the wedding trip just to get everything coordinated and worked out and find the florist and
The production.
I did my site inspection. Yes. But they went above and beyond. They really did.
They did. It looked so beautiful.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And very special people were there, and very special people were thinking about us like you.
I so wished I could have made that work, but when you have a little child and no family, really, that was too difficult. But I watched every moment to be with you guys in spirit.
But you were at the real deal.
I was at the what I know that you guys went to Austria with your best friend Christmas time one time.
Oh, yes.
Susie,
Yes.
and you had an amazing time there
Oh,
too, right?
my goodness.
That's
yes.
like the best trip ever,
Yeah.
I hear about.
It was great. Yes.
There's nothing like Christmas in Austria.
Oh yeah, I've done it.
Yeah, there's nothing
So
like it.
beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I love it.
Now, what would you say were your craziest dance mom moments?
Oh, you're going back.
I have to
I
go
thought we were
back.
past the dance stage.
Not quite. Almost. Those questions are important. Just your craziest memories of dance moms
Yeah, top one.
and dance studio owners.
Okay,
because
well,
they're different.
dance moms, that's a very easy one. I remember receiving a phone call from a lady, and one of the keys to success is you answer your phone. So we didn't have necessarily cell phones at the time, but this woman got up and said, I woke up at 4:00 this morning. I pressed my door. I made her breakfast. I pressed her costume. We drove an hour and a half to the competition. And can you tell me why she got a second place?
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming next.
Oh, no. Don't tell me you just said that.
What did you say?
I tried to be diplomatic as possible and just say, well, it's all on the execution that she portrayed that at that particular time. I'm sorry, but there were 3 judges there. I'm not involved in that. So
could get out of
Good
that
thing
one.
you can't call them.
Yeah.
I can't give you their phone number. Sorry.
No, I do give them their phone number. I
You
did.
do?
I do. Yes. You've been in the judging circuit.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I've been a judge. Yeah.
How would you like to get a call from some of those mothers?
I mean, they can ask me. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, that just proves your legitimacy and
Yeah.
you're on the up and up, and I have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
I'm not a dancer. I'll be the first to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Well, in dance competition is an opinion. So, you have to.
Yeah.
It's like we're not scoring baskets. I always tell people, my students too, I'm like, I don't know. There's 3 different people each time. It might be different every single time. Just have
That's
to
what we always
do
said.
your best.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
What about dance studio owners?
Oh, you know what? One of the best things. Well, I'll tell you. There was a lady from Iowa who came to me and she said, "You don't even remember my name." And I said, What do you mean? You're XYZ. And she said, "Well, how did you know that?" I said, "Well, you've been supporting us for 3 or 4 years. I mean, my goodness, I appreciate." She said, "Well, I only bring 3 or 4 numbers and I teach in my garage." And I said, "But that doesn't make you any less than a person."
Right.
You're just, but that really hurt me.
That you thought you didn't know her.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I do know them. Again, that goes back to the key of success. You get to know the people that support you.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Regardless.
single one.
Regardless
Yeah,
of
how big or small.
Yeah, how big or small.
That's incredible though, but I do understand that you'll know. I mean, when the papers come across who signs up, right? You'll never forget that. Did you have studios that signed up and then never paid? Did that happen a lot?
I did have a studio that purchased a money order and sent it to us and then went and canceled it as lost. Yeah. That was
rough.
That was pretty bad.
Oh my
God,
gosh.
that is horrible.
But really, I'm a trusting person, so I just felt like, that's the cost of doing business.
Right.
Yeah.
You have the losses.
You got to speak to the man upstairs over
Yeah.
this one. So.
Right. Now, what made you decide to sell the dance studio? The dance competition?
I was getting older, and it was very difficult for me to travel as much as I was traveling. It was time. It was just, it's time.
Right.
Actually, technology was surpassing me. That was one of the things that scared me the most. We were coming up with all these programs of how you can register online and how you can do this. And I hired IT people on my staff. And instead of accepting that the world was changing, I didn't change with it. And that's an age thing. It was really difficult for me to accept that. I'm old school,
Right.
I mean, I remember putting score sheets in a typewriter and typing out the name individually. Now you got computers that
Right.
spit them out,
Right.
immediately. So it was just time. It was time. When it's time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a hard time after you sold it? Because you did that for 25 years and
I had a hard time because people always compared the way you did things to the way the new people do things. So that was the hard thing. You know, I couldn't control that.
Right.
No.
I had to back away totally. It was, oh, wow, this is a hard question. I'm trying to answer it diplomatically as possible.
You don't have to.
I don't have to do that.
No,
Okay.
you just answer however you want.
Well,
your
it
feelings.
was the change.
Yeah.
It was just the change, and you built those relationships
Right.
with all these people, and they were calling you and saying, "Oh, we went to this, and this is what happened, and you know that would have never happened if you were there." And you're right, that would have never happened, but it did, and you
and
know,
I'm not there.
and I'm not there.
Thank God.
Yeah. Well, I just asked because I know Marcella is in a transition and she's having it's
Yeah.
a struggle because it is such a different world. It's such a unique world, and once you're in it, it just has so many pluses and so many minuses. And when you step out, you only remember all the good things, kind of thing.
Really?
So
Well, I think doing anything that you do for so long, like
right.
I think if anybody asks me, you know, what's going on, I feel like I've been a dancer since I was 3 years old and in the competitive world. And then I worked and then I had a studio. So I've only known that. So then to step out of it, which I know is a blessing in disguise, at the same time, you're kind of like lost. Like, I don't know who I am without dancing. So it's been like a transition. Not that I'm not dancing, but different.
I know who I am without dance.
What is that?
I love it.
A happy person.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it's a difficult world.
It is.
It really is, because you're not just putting on a production.
Mhm.
You're dealing with human emotions.
A lot of emotions.
A lot of emotions.
Women emotions.
Well, I won't go there, but you deal with people's most precious pride, and that's
children.
their child.
Yeah.
Yes. But I couldn't do anything about that. All I could do was produce something that was spectacular and make those kids feel like they were special. And, you know, that's the end of the discussion.
Right.
People wanted to blame me for the results. No, that wasn't the case.
Mm.
But that happens in life.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
Right.
You're always put on the spot about, well, why didn't I get the job? Why didn't I get Miss Universe? Why didn't I get selected for the All-State Choir? Why didn't I get, you know, because you weren't good enough.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
It's that simple.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's a difficult thing to answer when people want to point, their elbow doesn't bend. In other words, they don't ever want to look at themselves and
Right.
say, well, maybe this is not suitable for my child.
Yeah. I know that.
And a lot of parents live vicariously through their children. So,
Mhm.
you know,
I think any industry that is working with children is tough. Anytime, like you said, like you're working with.
it doesn't matter what it is.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
it could be an art class
Mhm.
and, you know, they drew pictures and, you know, you hang them on the wall and everybody's got a different opinion about everybody's art. You
Mhm.
know, it doesn't matter what it is.
Mhm.
It's everybody's opinion.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, there's artistic value to everything, but,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, it's like I watched a basketball game last night and, you know, did the right team win? Yes. Did my favorite team win? No. Am I upset about that? Yes, because they're not played today.
Yeah,
But, you know, it was like they just got beat.
yeah.
That people cannot accept that.
It's really hard. Now you are a dog lover. As we heard, you bought your poodle with your last $50,
Yes.
but you support the
Humane Society.
Humane Society, and then you have that special place that you always support by the lake where you live, right?
Yes.
The
Yes.
I know that you guys are very close with them.
The Humane Society of Cedar Creek Lake.
Okay.
Yes. I'm all in.
All in.
I mean, I read in the local paper that they got a $10,000 grant, and it was like, yay. I watched Dodo. That's my favorite video of all on Facebook.
Yeah. All the animals.
All the animals.
Yes.
Yeah. Where they save the pups, and I just can't imagine doing all that necessity of loving those animals and bringing them back to life, and then all of a sudden they have to give them up.
Oh, yeah.
It crushes me. Oh my gosh, I've cried over more Dodo videos.
But you have a special puppy, Paris.
Yes, Paris is my love.
They have birthday parties for Paris.
Yes.
They have a whole closet for Paris. Paris has better clothes than I do.
Paris is a special little dog.
She's sweet. And then you have a dog that found you, Puppy.
Yeah, well, Poppy was thrown out of a truck.
I know.
On a bridge near our home. And bless his heart, the truck drove off and he's looking around like, Dad. Or, no, he didn't call me Dad at the time, but where do I go? Where do I go? And I said, you come with me.
Oh,
that little dog is so
I don't know if I've ever seen
it has
that
like
dog.
Well, he's got a little paw that kind of protrudes out, and I wanted to name him Plie.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, but we said a little puppy. I don't know where that came from, but
so
Thomas calls
cute.
him Puppy.
Puppy
Like puppy dog. Poppy like
Poppy.
Daddy.
Yes.
But yes.
So cute. Well, I wanted to end this show, and then we're going to come back for part 2 and find out all about David's new endeavors, new entrepreneurial
never
amazingness that you're doing now. So thank you for listening, and follow us on all social media platforms, and we thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.